So here we are again, on the way this time to Xitang, one of those water towns west of Shanghai. We're going to fine-tune again, do some final aiming, testing, maybe adjust some programming. As always, at the end, there's some artwork and some accessories being placed, some furniture being added. So all that needs to be adjusted so we can create the right mood. The client is a very enthusiastic art supporter. So very excited. We're looking forward to the next couple of days and then the big opening on Friday. Okay. So this property is called East Xitang. Naera is the name. It's obviously located on the east side of the old Xitang village, which is a very famous water town, just about an hour plus drive from Shanghai, easy to reach. It has its waterways, it has nature and things outside, and offers a great relaxing background for people to stay. I think I can say with confidence that when people go to this hotel, they will experience something that they have never experienced before. I could feel immediately that the owner had a passion for his project, had a great attention for detail and quality of design.
We are lucky to have a project execution team that listen to us and deliver what we expect. I really appreciate the clients that he understands design and respects the consultant's decisions.
实际上是在八年前有这样的一个机会来到西塘，通过西塘的政府的热情的这个接待，也需要一个这样的优质的这个度假的项目。然后在这个过程中呢，我又和太太我们又去了很多的这个度假区和优秀的度假酒店进行过考察，因为我们热爱生活，热爱旅游。中国美丽的城市上海，所以在这20几年中呢，我边工作边努力的工作，从基础的做起，到能够有今天的这样的一个项目的呈现，其实是我那个比较年轻10几岁时候的一个愿望。实际上，酒店只是我们在西塘这个区域做的一个项目中的一个点。那我们这个整个的区域有有机的农场，有纹理的街区，还有我们这个精品的度假酒店。
之前我有建议过朱总要去找一个国外的比较知名的品牌，但是我们在接触过程当中呢，发现他有很强的意愿和抱负，要做一个自己的和这个民族有关的、和这个土地有关的这个品牌，所以我非常支持他。然后我们就开始了这一路的工作。实际上，对于我来讲，我现在唯一的一个不是国际品牌的酒店就是Naera。
So we're walking through the hotel. We're now on our way to the all-day dining, where we're going to do a bit of programming, aiming specifically for the private dining areas. Because now I'm sitting with the daylight in my back. We're testing the lights now up and down, color of the light. Look out for different brightnesses to see what would work best. Now what we're saying is that inside the pendant, the little lights, the little bulbs that are inside are not properly positioned vertically, which creates different brightnesses on the frosted exposed part of the fixture. Now this is really extreme detailing. If we would go and try to adjust all the light bulbs to be straight inside the pendant, it's not too disturbing, but it's something that we notice, but whether other people notice, I don't know. The hotel setup is a setup with a central courtyard with a water feature. The public areas like the reception, the bar, the tea house, the library, they're all linked together through this courtyard.
实际上，整个这个项目对我来讲，每个空间我都做了很深刻的思考，因为它每个空间的关系不一样，它是一个靠不同空间的串联，最后得出一个结果的。 所以这是一个非常典型的中国的游园的一个平面，游园，就游动在园林当中，啊，就是中国古典园林里边最重要的因素就是游园，
Our lighting design approach was very much tied in with the approach of the interior designer. Because I had worked with Jubin and his team before, we had that direct and instant understanding of what it is we were looking for. It was quite an elaborate process with a lot of renderings, a lot of visualizations to sort of convey the message, but with the main aim to create attention, visual interest, and make the whole mood and ambience feel very attractive and relaxing. No problem. I think that one is fine, not to worry. Meiwan tea in Chinese means no problem. So as long as you hear Meiwan tea, we're good.
In terms of the architecturals, I really feel that our lights really like enhance the interior. It's really like blend in so well to the space. It enhances the designs of the interior. It brings out the materials and the details.
Practically on every corner of every area there is somewhere a piece of art, even in your room or in the most unexpected areas like in the toilets or in the washrooms. You'll find always something unexpected that is related to art, bringing something special. See the little details like this here? We have just a spot to bring it out, and it's just these little things that makes a difference.
I like the small little details that's created by the interior designer. It gives you some surprise when you walk through the hotel.
因为我热爱这个有机的农业，热爱旅游度假，同时这么多年我也收藏了很多的艺术，也有很多的艺术家的朋友。
For every step that you move, you will discover something.
This is the hotel behind me as seen from the street side. It's quite a busy road, a lot of traffic. But that wall brings us an element of privacy, an element of something special is behind that. You can see from the illumination, there's some light spilling out. You can see the signage, but you have no idea what is behind. So that has been the idea all along, to create some sort of intimacy and create a special entrance that people wonder, what will it be? You arrive like this and said, oh wow, where am I now?
Normally the hotel, you will open, you will be able to see everything, but for this one it's very different.
所以说我们的客人从那个就 lobby 那个大堂那边，这进来的时候，他看到那个灯光，那个美轮美奂的那个灯光所映照出来那个长廊，是让他遐想的。他在想，这是一个什么样的酒店，这是一个什么样的一个环境的酒店，他就顺着我们那个长廊，觉得哎呀，像迷宫一样这样走。当走到我们 check in 那个地方的时候，感应的门会自动打开。给他映入眼帘的，就是我们这个愿景的这种灯光的设计，会给他一个非常大的一个哇惊喜。
It is designed to wind people down. When they come from a busy city, they will arrive in here and they get into this pathway that will meander through the reception. And I think that makes this hotel pretty special. It is designed to have a daytime feel, but also to have a nighttime feel. You will see no signage. There's also no downlights. Everything is done with the illuminated panels and the artwork lighting. That's all, nothing else. Spot the difference. On the left, the lights are scalloping on the screen, which is really preventing from re-enjoying the interiors. And if you look on the right, where they're changing, the scallops are being moved away from the screen, and it gives a much cleaner view on the inside. So much better. Intrigue and discovery when you walk through the property is something that is a very big part of the experience of coming to this hotel. What we're doing now, we're at the Japanese restaurant. This is the sushi bar. We need to relocate the lights a little bit because it's an action bar. That means the cook is going to be actioning, doing things on the block or here. So we need to focus the light a little bit more towards the cook. He has just explained to us what he wants. So we're now adjusting the light so that the focus is on the action and it's sort of softened out to where the people will be sitting at the bar. So we just found out that there's a reflection on the counter when you sit at the counter at the sushi bar. So by adding a little ledge, you can see if she holds her fingers there, it blocks out the light. So once we do that, we will not be able to see the reflection anymore. So it has been a continuous collaboration and coordination with all the team members under the guidance of Mr. Tsu, which I have to say has been very involved and very passionate about making this dream for him come true. And I think that has been the driver throughout, with all parties on the same page, the same focus, the same thinking about how to make this a great project.
尤其是在建筑和景观的基础上，又加上室内的基础上呈现得很完美的同时的过程中，又有我们的灯光，灯光是非常非常的重要，给予我们整个酒店，用中国话来说叫做点睛之笔。
我们这个灯光在调试的色度，就亮度、颜色和我们周边的这个环境，这个度把握的都是恰到好处。我从事酒店30多年，这是我见过酒店里边最好的灯光。为什么这么说呢？这个灯光的设计是和客人的心情的一个变化是结合在一起的。有的客人说你们的灯光像瑜伽。
我认为这个项目的灯光，是我非常喜欢的，因为它包含了几个因素。第一个呢，就是它是一个更偏东方的灯光系统，所以我就希望它，在这个游走当中，通过不同的空间的个关系，然后呢，让他最后得出，他最后闭上眼睛之后说，哦，原来这是中国，它只有气韵和气度，它很高级，但是你看不见。
So we're sitting outside the bar, just outside, and looking at how the lighting affects what we saw during the day. Because it's really a total reversal. During the day, the outside natural light lights up the building, you can see the architecture, you wonder what's inside. When it's night, it's exactly the opposite. The buildings come out in silhouette. The structures come out in silhouette. People who walk around are in silhouette. We deliberately did not make any attempt to light up the facade. We wanted light to come from inside the building to get that reversed effect of what you get during the day. And then if you add to that the water surface that sort of connects the buildings through this courtyard, everything is repeated. So what you see it reflected in the water. You see somebody walk and then you see its reflection walk over the water as well. So I think it's beautiful to see that reversal of effect. One of the biggest challenges that we had is to try and balance the lights that come from the interior. In order to get that balanced mood, each and every space, each and every area that is facing this internal court needed to be controlled and the brightness trimmed to the level that it overall looked the same. Everything has been sort of connected together in terms of lighting brightness, in terms of the contrast that it creates. And that has been an extremely difficult challenge because obviously in the restaurant, all day dining, you need different lighting levels as in the library. So through clever positioning of the lights, balancing the dimming levels, we managed to do that. And now if you look overall around, it feels pretty balanced. It doesn't feel too bright, but once you're inside, because of the great glare control optics that we have used, light is sufficient on the table, but from outside it doesn't look that bright. We had quite a number of challenges. Communication. There's always the translation from our English thoughts to the Chinese way of thinking. So there's sometimes some lost in translation elements. But at no point in time did we really have big misunderstandings or disagreements. And if we found that it was not totally understood, it was easily corrected.
Most of the time, like for specific terminology or some technical term in Mandarin, I couldn't understand. So it takes a while for me to understand, and they will have to explain to me before I can explain it to you.
而且 Martin 和团队在这个过程当中付出了很多，特别是对于我们交流过程当中的一些不同的观点的相互之间的一种理解，绝对不可以一定要遵循 Martin 的意思，必须按照这个走，不可以动的。
At this moment, Grace is explaining to the staff and the engineering department how the lighting controls are working. It's always important to include the operations staff and engineering to let them know what we have programmed, why we have done certain things and how to operate it. So it's important for her to explain that they really need to follow our direction in terms of which scenes to set at what time and follow that up strictly. We have all along the way adapted. There were times that I got really good feedback from Jubin's team and say, okay, that's a good suggestion, that will work. Likewise, he has also taken a lot of advice on board that we said, if you change that a little bit this way, we can easily integrate lighting. The same holds for the architect and the landscape designer. As always, in every project, cove lighting is a challenge. You can detail as much as you want, but in the end the contractor never really follows it, so we had to be on top of it. We did quite a lot of adjustments to make it right. It's okay now, it looks good, it's soft and it sort of fades out from the cove itself. But it was a bit of a challenge to get it right, and we had to adjust it multiple times to make sure it came out the right way. The floors are pretty dark, pretty much black. And there's some level differences, so where there is a level difference we had to integrate linear lights to highlight the steps when you go from one level to another. It came out well in the end, but that also is something that needs a lot of attention if you want to make it right. This is another example of how lighting and interior design are integrated together. I think this is a beautiful example, a little bench, but at the same time, you know, it's illuminated and it creates visual interest. I think very cleverly done. I love it. We always knew there would be art and artworks, but we never knew to what extent, what shape, how big, what size. And it's only in the last few months before the opening that we started to get a feel of what really this fantastic art was going to be. We had to challenge ourselves to find solutions because we had provisional lighting put in place, but it was without really knowing what was going to be put where. And I think even the artist only decided on some of the artworks once he was here. So that meant that the infrastructure for lighting was there, but it was not perfect. So we had to improvise along the way to bring in some additional lighting, move over some lighting, maybe add in some conversion lenses or spread lenses or ways to adapt to the situation that we had with the lighting that was already in place. So we're here at pre-function ballroom entrance. This is a typical example on detailing and integration of light. This whole stairway obviously was very tempting to put lights everywhere, but after carefully considering what we could do, we decided to just go up till here, have a little guidance along the side, like a sort of a guidance light. But it's a conscious decision to not make it all the way, sort of make it a bit less commercial, more arty and more considerate in terms of what we're trying to achieve. You will notice that the color temperature outside is quite warm. This was done on purpose to get that feeling of warmth and coziness and a bit of feeling of fire with that warmth. Before they arrive here, they come through two what we call light boxes. These are brick boxes with holes in it. There's light, the light lights up the tree, but at the same time light comes through the perforations which are created by the openings through the bricks. So in order to create that lantern effect, we had quite some thinking to do, and we did various tests because the original idea of just uplighting the tree was not enough. The light goes upwards but didn't really come through the holes in the bricks. So we needed to really create some floodlights that are in the back shining towards the holes to create this effect. The wall is quite thick, it's probably about 20-30 centimeters thick, so that the holes also have a bit of a depth, so it's not that the light comes out easy. The lantern effect is just one element of the arrival experience, because the bricks there have holes, but the whole brick wall facing the main entrance lobby is solid. And the linear light that we provided grazes it really nicely and brings out that structural effect of the wall. But in order to make sure that you really are focused on the lighting effects, we had to create a little ledge to conceal the light, so that your attention is not directed to the light, but directed to the effect, which is the grazing of the wall.
实际上，就是您的这种精神，就是您的这种工作态度，是让我很感动的。就是坚持用中国话人来说，叫做匠人精神，手工打造。就是每一个环节，其实我们有共同的认识，每一个环节都是基本上是你亲力来打造，亲身的一个付出。 包括你的这个项目的项目经理燕子，她也非常的优秀。
So there's one special feature in this project, and I would say that's the light show. It's not often that a hotel has the opportunity to create something like that. Because of the enclosed nature of the courtyard, we had this opportunity to use the protruding public areas as elements in a light show that can be viewed from all around the hotel. And this concept was first proposed by the landscape architect, and we thought it was a great idea and embraced that straight away and found ways to incorporate that. Now, it's not so easy to introduce a light show with used colored lighting where in normal times you would have a public area that needs just warm architectural lighting. So we had to find this combination of introducing these colored lights, creating those displays around the courtyard without too much affecting the regular public activities in the reception or the bar, etc. It's not too dominant. Once you sit in these areas and the show is going on, you can see some color changing going on, but it's not too disruptive.
This is our first light show. First time they see these hotels with a light shows, they will say, like it gives them some excitement.
那是完全不同啊，因为当你在一个特别回归内心安静的酒店里边坐下来的时候，你会非常安静。突然之间，你会有一个这个灯光这个它有一个很强烈的对抗，这个对抗就会形成记忆。
As you can see, we're currently testing the red color. There's a sequence of 6 colors that we have chosen because we have 6 different areas that we're lighting up, so we have reduced the number that we're going to use to 6. Now you can see that the material here is rattan, so it reacts in a certain way to red. So the challenge that we currently have is in the tea house where we have a different material which is a bit whiter in texture. So if we use the same color, program the same color, it comes out as a different color. So we need to attone that and adjust that so that the end result of the actual color of the light with the filter that's in front comes out as the same color when you look at it from a distance. We have the electrical engineers who know how the circuiting is, and then we have the actual programmer of the equipment, of the control equipment that has to come over here to help us program. They use their laptops and I don't know what kind of software to put it all together. So it's quite a tedious job, because once we have actually fixed the colors, then they have to actually go into the program and adjust everywhere, all the different areas to make sure that all the circuits, all the equipment have the same color. It's also part of the arrival experience. If you come at the same time that the light show is on, this is what you would experience. Today, now we're at the stage of opening the hotel. It's really so exciting, and we can feel the emotions from all the designers come together, and lighting brings out that emotion, I think.
I traveled a lot of cities and countries, go on business trip, and stay in many hotels. And which impressed me deeply is just the Naera Hotel and Spa, because you know Xitang is a quite ancient town of 1,000 years. It's make me wow, it's so nice. The staff is so nice, so warm, and so patient for every guest. Art and space is a perfect combination. I think which conveys a concept to audience is the art is the eye of space.
I think what we have achieved with a team that was so dedicated and committed, and that we achieved the maximum that was possible, we have achieved a result that will really impress everybody that comes to the hotel.
就我想聊一聊这样说吧，一是感谢这3年来你对于我们整个项目的付出，和你的团队的付出和贡献，能够最终呈现给我们这么多人的一种惊喜，这样的一个状态，发自内心的感谢你。
刚好呢，我就处在了这个可以有能力去塑造一个品牌的这个时期。而且我想，我和那个朱总，然后包括 Martin， 我们会一起继续在后续，对梁壤品牌做更多的事情，让它变得更好，让它在中国甚至以后在国际上成为一个最好的品牌。因为我们具备了所有的把一个品牌做好的这个能力。
The completion of this project is just a first step of a much bigger dream. After this, we'll move on to add in organic farming, there will be art precincts added on, and we probably will see many more Naera hotels throughout China and maybe the world based on this very successful concept.